Welcome to Strider Trees. This video is going to be about single rope technique, how to access the tree and move around a little bit. It's an excerpt from a beginner sort of climbing trees 101 series that I'm going to have available on my website here soon at stridertrees.com, and hopefully you'll find it useful if you're just getting into single rope technique. Does this look familiar? This is the same kind of system we're using with the moving rope setup when we are tied on both sides. Now, this isn't enough to have safe up and down movement in the tree, because what happens with this, and I'll just demonstrate, if I'm just on the one line, instead of this friction hitch supporting half my weight with the moving rope system, it's supporting the entirety of my weight on a single line. So if I were to sit in this really hard and catch me, what happens is this binds really tight. So if I were to pull on it, either it doesn't come down or I come down really fast and it burns up the hitch cord. So this is where I say a single line system ends up needing a little bit more gear. So if this is what you started with, this is where you're learning, and this is what you've got, then all you need to add in order to make this a functioning piece of kit and a functioning on a single line is this rope wrench. Now there's a few different tethers, there's a few different systems that involve the rope wrench. If you know you're gonna go this route, I kind of advise, I really like the Notch Fusion tether, that's a good one. The Rion Rounds tether also works beautifully. And that's this little piece that goes between the rope wrench and your carabiner. And what it does is it's got some stiffness to it, so when I push this up the line, it lifts the rope wrench without interfering with the knot. So when I pull down on here, this adds some friction to the whole system. And now my weight is supported between this half and this is the other half. So no longer having all my weight just on the hitch, it's kind of split between these two. And that makes this function beautifully, even with just the one line. So I'll go back to my setup here. Now, when I'm hanging from this and I release this, now it's all smooth and controlled again, just like when I was on the double line system. So that's one way to go. This is kind of your cheapest, most accessible. It's not actually that much cheaper than buying a piece of hardware, a piece of actual what do they call it? Some mechanical ascending device. So I'm gonna show you that next here. I don't use hitch cords. I climb a lot, and I find as soon as I'm in a pitchy tree, the hitch cords get difficult to use. And so I tend to go straight to some hardware, because it's just a little bit cleaner and simpler, easier to get off and on. You don't have to know how to tie knots. Once again, I'm just gonna show you here the Notch Rope Runner Pro. There's a number of other devices, and at some point, there will be videos on all those different devices, and you can find those on my channel, my YouTube channel, and other places. So this guy goes on just like that. It's pretty straightforward. 3 slick pins. You have to make sure your rope is the correct diameter for it. Most of your standard climbing arborist ropes will work with most of the devices. But it functions essentially the same as the hitch cord. This acts like the rope wrench. This portion right here pinches the rope between the pulley and this plate and adds a bunch of friction. And I'm able to control my descent by pulling down what's called the bird, by pulling down this little bird's beak, and it lets me down. Just like that. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. It doesn't get bothered too much by sap, and it works very consistently and reliably in the tree. Easy to take on, easy to take off. This is a good way to go if you're gonna get into more production climbing, more commercial climbing, or you just really love tree climbing and wanna go for the best. It's a great way to go. Sorry to interrupt, but if you enjoy my content in this channel and you're looking at diving deeper into tree work, check out stridertrees.com. I've got a course for the beginner who's just looking at getting into the trees for the first time. And I've also got a series that's more tilted towards folks who are already doing residential tree work. It's going to have the safety trainings and the skill trainings starting at new hire to take someone right off the street, make them an apprentice, teach them the more advanced skills all the way to a foreman. And if that's something you'd be interested in, you can leave your email address there on the website, and I'll let you guys know first thing when that's available. Also, you can schedule to have me come out to your job site and be a contract climber and an instructor and combine that time to offer you the best value to upgrade your skills with your crew on your job. So you can do that, you can schedule that on my website as well, stridertrees.com. Now, back to the goods. So the keen-eyed observer may notice that I've changed harnesses into what is actually my production climbing harness. All the gear, all the equipment I'm using can still be done from that initial rock climbing harness I was demonstrating, but there are some big advantages of having a little more accessories. Having these, they call them lower D rings, are really great for using that lanyard. This is that secondary lanyard that we'll use to position in the tree and also to switch back and forth from my climb system and to move it around in the tree while still remaining tied in, even if I'm not tied to this. If you'll notice, this is actually the same friction, it's the same double rope setup that I built for myself with the moving rope system video. So I actually have a moving rope system on me right now as my lanyard. And of course, lots of other hooks for hanging. I've got my handsaw. None of that stuff is necessary. I just want you to see, this is what I wear on the daily when I'm climbing and how it interacts with my gear, because if you do a lot of tree climbing, it's important to know that things are going to interact well. Okay, rope is set. We've got our base anchor. Now it's time to get up in the tree. So the first challenge of getting up in the tree, the access, is the Ascension. Now, I can actually get up into this tree without any more hardware than what I have here. So again, if you're on a super budget and that's what you want to do, this is how you would do that. Now, I've got this little chest ascender that allows me to clip in right here, and that means that this will stay at the same point on my chest as I go up. That's really convenient for foot locking, because if I'm gonna foot lock, it makes it so I don't really have to tend my slack. It'll actually just fall through, and my chest device, or my ascending device, will come up with me. And now I can disconnect and work. Now, you may not have a chest ascender, so the way you deal with that in this situation, if you're gonna foot lock and work your way up, I literally just, as I stand up, I slide my device up with my hand. And I can work my way right up the tree with that, no problem. So that's the basic way to get up. That's the easiest, cheapest, most accessible. That same method works with the rope wrench that I showed you and the hitch cord. And these other devices, you can do the same thing with any of those. And none of this extra gear is necessary, but it can be really helpful. So if you find you're doing a lot of climbing, or you know you're gonna want to, or maybe you've got an older person with your party and you guys are gonna go do a rec climb, that maneuver I showed you right there has left me even a little bit winded. And I do this all day, every day. I made it look, trust me, I made it look a lot easier than what it ends up actually being. This little device is called a foot ascender. This one is made by CT, Climbing Technologies. It's got a little locking mechanism so that when the rope is in the ascender, it locks in. This is my preferred device. It doesn't kick out easy. You have to intentionally open it up to get the rope out. That makes for a very simple, very intuitive way to add some leg power to what we're doing. So now, instead of having to foot lock like I was showing before, I can stand up on my one leg and go straight up. Slide my leg up, stand up. Slide my leg up, stand up. Slide my leg up, stand up. And when I'm ready to move around, or if I want to come down, I just unhook the rope from my foot and I can come down. Now, I think this is somewhere around $100 for that little device there. I almost always add in this third piece of kit, and this is called a Haas knee ascender. Getting up and down tall trees with just one leg, it's kind of a doozy. It's exhausting. If I integrate this piece into the whole system, now here I'm going to show you what I use day in and day out. I'll clip that to my chest here because I've got it. Once again, you don't need it. Makes things easier. Clip my foot in that one. Actually, I'll go with the knee first. Clip the knee ascender into that. Clip the foot ascender below it. Now all I'm gonna do is walk up the line. As you see, if I lift my right leg, this bungee pulls the ascender up, and then I can step in the foot loop. And my right foot, as I get more rope below me, will go up the rope on the other side. And then I'm essentially just walking up the rope. Now this is kind of become the most efficient way to get in and out of a tree on a single line. It's all being done with my legs. My hands are just pulling me and keeping me upright. And my feet are doing all the hard work. Once I'm up here in place, I just unclip my feet, unclip my knee. I'll usually tuck this out of the way here somewhere. And now I'm free to work. If I want to adjust my position in the tree or unclip myself, let's just say I want to work myself around the back side of the tree, or I want to move my rope around the back side of the tree, what I can do is use my lanyard to tie in. I slacked up my system. I could even take my system off. Let's say pass it up and over a branch, and I can clip back in down here, and now I can work my way on the other side of this branch. I think maybe I want to go up, I want to duck underneath this to access that other side of the tree over there. So I'll just lob that up and over, clip myself back in. Now I'm double tied, and I can get some weight back in my climb system, double check it, seems good. Take off my lanyard. And now I can bring some slack down to use my legs again. Clip in right here. Sit in, advance the leg, sit in the harness, advance the leg, sit in the harness. I'm gonna take that foot off now. And here I am on the other side of the tree. Still a nice direct line. I can play around over here. I can work my way out on a branch. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and it works beautifully.